All right, ladies. Happy happy Father's Day, right? Happy Father's Day to everybody. Let's see if I am actually live on YouTube. Does it say I am?
All right, ladies.
Yes, and I can hear myself. I love that.
Happy Father's Day, right? Happy Father's Day to everybody. Let's see if I am.
Okay. One of these days, you know what would be nice is when you start Zoom, it wouldn't go loud on YouTube. I mean, obviously, if you're streaming, you don't need both things to be going at once. So anyway, there you go. So I wish I was where you see me. I wish I was at the beach. But I'm looking forward to going, sometime this summer for sure. So happy Father's Day weekend to everybody. I hope you had a good day. And we're gonna talk about something. I was thinking today, I thought, what could we talk about today? And I found this book. I just sat I have a closet with a bookshelf, and I went there and I just sat on the stool and I just looked at all the many, many books that I have. I know, Laree, you can think, relate to this. So I looked at that, and then I found this one. And this is a book that I have had a long time. Matter of fact, let me see when it was written. It was written in, here we go, copyright 2006. Okay. So it's called Overcoming Objections Will Make You Rich. And a lot of you, how many of y'all had that book? Okay. And so it's been a long time since I've looked at the book, read the book. And for some reason, I just opened it up and I thought, oh, that's a great book. I remember reading it before. And I just glanced through here, and it's by Larry DiAngi. And I've seen him speak at some different things. And this one chapter just kind of opened up to me. And I thought, boom, that's what I'm going to talk about. And it's called Eliminate the Fear of People. The fear of people. And I was thinking of all the things in Mary Kay, the things that hold us back, like when we procrastinate, it's like we're scared. We're scared to call people. We're scared to text people. We're scared to meet people. It's just like, and we got this thing, we're all up in ourselves, and we just freeze, and then we procrastinate, and we don't do the things we know we need to do. And we make something really, really big. And so I thought, I'm going to just take a minute and read this chapter. And I'm going to kind of go through it with you. I think it's really good. And so one of the things, though, that I also found is I found this. And, when you've been in Mary Kay a million years, you find all kinds of things. And this is a consultant's guide from 2005. And it had in it a little business basics. It has a skincare class, CD, show you how to do a skincare class. It has a product. Guide. Okay. And then some success stories of CD. So I thought, well, that's really kind of a cool little packet. And so I thought, let me look through that. So I also kind of read through this, and it's just business basics. And it's so funny how, even though this is 2021, you can go back to a consultant's guide from 2005, and it's the same stuff. And I think that a lot of us have gotten away from the Mary Kay basics, and because it is tried and true, and it still works today. The only difference is that, like, this didn't talk a lot about texting, and it didn't talk a lot about doing like Facebook parties or anything like that. It talked about doing web parties where you have a hostess and she shares your Mary Kay website, and then they all order on it, and then the hostess gets hostess credit. Still not a bad idea, right? So, but what caught me is at the very beginning, it had a welcome, of course, and I want to read to you this first page. Okay, so the first page, it has a welcome, and it has these little, I just want to read what Mary Kay sent to the new consultants. First of all, it has a quote, and it says, from Mary Kay Ash, it says, you begin that journey toward success by following 2 rules. Number 1, get started. Number 2, don't quit. That's it. Did y'all know that's all you need to get started? And then don't quit. And so it says, congratulations, welcome and congratulations to the place where dreams really can come true. See, it's like Disney World, right? As a Mary Kay independent beauty consultant, your achievements can be recognized, applauded, and rewarded. You can discover unlimited opportunity, freedom, and flexibility, and it all starts now. And you just put yourself in the shoes of a brand new beauty consultant, or just remember when your very first thing you got from Mary Kay. And weren't you just excited and you got it? And I mean, I remember I got mine, I'm reading it and I'm like, man, I can't believe this. So excited and about the possibilities of what it could do for me and for my family. And I just to do something new. I don't know. Some people have different feelings about stuff, but I remember going to college and that first day where we get our books. And it was always exciting to me to get a new book and to think what we're going to learn this year. Now, some of them, it was not a subject that I was excited about, but when I got to my major, I was excited to get the new book and look through it and go to that class that first day and see what it was going to be. And so when new beauty consultants get their first thing, they have to have a little bit of excitement, starting out, and then later this fear of people chimes in. So, but let me just read this. It says, this is the introduction to this, the book. It says, on September 13th, 1963, Mary Kay created a company that allows women to achieve unlimited success. She also wanted a company to be guided by principles and values. Mary Kay believed in the golden rule: treat others the way you want to be treated. She believed that only by helping others could your dreams come true. So she designed a career path based not only and solely on the goals an individual achieves, but also on the goals an individual helps other women achieve. It's this formula for success that sets the Mary Kay opportunity apart. And so in Mary Kay, Mary Kay told us many times, you cannot move forward unless you're helping other people move forward, And so it's a win-win. And like the top director cannot get there without a top unit. And the top national cannot be a top national without top directors. You know what I'm saying? And so it is where you have to always be, as you're going up, you're reaching up, and you also have got a hand down and helping others up. And so it said Mary Kay's mission is to enrich women's lives. As one of the most successful global direct selling companies, Mary Kay provides more than 1.5 million women with a unique business opportunity in more than 30 markets. And of course, now we're in 40 markets. Quite simply, the opportunity encourages building a successful independent business while living a balanced life with your faith, family, and career in harmony. A philosophy that continues to thrive more than 4 decades after the company's founding. And of course, now it's almost 6 decades. It says millions of women are now realizing their dreams thanks to Mary Kay. And they began their incredible journeys just as you are with their starter kit. And then it says, in this book, you'll find tips and techniques and resources that many independent beauty consultants have used to make their dreams come true. It's just another way your entire Mary Kay circle, your entire Mary Kay circle of friends and family is helping you achieve everything you've ever dreamed possible. You've chosen this opportunity because you know you can have it all. All you need to do is start. And so I was just thinking about that, and I thought, you know what? We all had that dream when we started, and we were optimistic about our future in Mary Kay. And then some of us, as years have gone by, we've kind of lost our dream a little bit, and we've lost our enthusiasm. And it's just kind of gotten old to us, or we've just taken it for granted what we have, and we don't share it as enthusiastically because it's just what we've known, like for me, for 30-something years, And so I was thinking about this fear of people, and so much of this that Larry DiAngi talked about, I think it holds true today for us trying to book people, text people, because since we can't really move up right by ourselves, right? Like you have to have people in your Mary Kay business. You're not a computer programmer that can sit in a cubicle by yourself and be successful, right? You have to have customers. And then to move on up in the company, you have to have team members. So you have to talk to people. So if you're in this business and you really don't want to talk to people, you probably have picked the wrong business. I'll just be honest with you. You might need to look to do something else, because unless you feel that way and you think, but I don't want to be that way. Okay. Because this could really help you. All right. But this is a people business, and we just need to kind of remember that. And so in the Mary Kay Business Basic book, she talks about the foundation of success, about making a good first impression, and she talks about the image that you present. She talks about setting goals, about choosing an inventory package so you can service your customers. She talks about booking appointments, the hostess program, coaching the hostess, developing your I story to share at your appointments. She talks about the 5 ways of selling. And it's funny about the 5 ways of selling. I actually read through this whole, believe it or not, this whole little new consultant book. And I thought, it's just the same. I mean, even though we're all fancy now, it's the same. Okay. Because we have 5 ways of selling. If you were in 2005, you know these. One, because we say them all the time. We say on the face, on the go, online, on paper, and on with the show. Y'all remember those? So on the face was the Mary Kay Beauty. It was like a facial or a party. On the go was quick and easy 15-minute appointments. Online was through your Mary Kay personal website, which now we would just add Zoom parties, Facebook parties, right? On paper is sales through your catalogs and brochures and the preferred customer program mailings. And then on with the show are parties that preview sets like an open house or if you did a body care party or, different themed parties, not necessarily on the face. Okay. And so then they just went through the different kind of parties you could do. And I was thinking about that today. How many of those do we use right now? Are you just limiting yourself to one way? Like some of our new beauty consultants that signed up since the pandemic, honestly, I think y'all think the only way to sell is online. There are 4 other ways. And I just want to tell you that because you can get, be successful just selling online, but there are 4 other ways. And the 4 other ways, especially the on the face and the on the go, those involve seeing actual people, not through a computer screen, but actually looking at them. Okay. And it is really what makes Mary Kay more fun. I promise you. It may scare you at first, but it makes it more fun. And then she talked about how to prepare for a party, following up after a sale, then talked about working your business full circle. And so thinking like a retailer, putting yourself like you have a store. How does a retailer think? Customer service tools, making your customer service calls and different business forms. And then chapter 5 was about a winning team and about the 4-part recruiting plan and talking with a potential team member, the career path. And then the last chapter is the key steps as I start my business and the basics. And just says, I know I can make my dreams come true, but give you some ideas on that. Just key steps to get going in your business. And that's it. Now, that's just 6 little chapters, but honestly, that is really, when I actually sat down and read this whole thing, I thought, that's really all you need to know. I mean, like, don't get so caught up in all these little stuff that you can enhance your business with. Yeah, you want to find out all that. But if you just stick to some of the basics of Mary Kay, you're going to love your business more than getting all frustrated with all this other stuff. I just wanted to throw that out there. Okay. So I want to talk about this chapter, and I'm just going to, some of it I'm going to read, but I'm going to stop. And I think you'll really like it. Okay. So he says, because Larry, he's a really good writer. And he says, let me ask you a question. What if you could totally eliminate and completely lose one thing called the fear of people? What difference would it make in your ability to promote and enroll other people in your vision, mission, or your business? And I wanted to read Mary Kay's vision and her mission because we know that's a good, pure, true vision and a mission. Is something worthy, is something admirable, is something that we could be very confident in sharing. It's not something questionable, something we think is shady. Is solid. Would y'all all agree that Mary Kay's mission and her vision is solid? And we have great products to back it. So you can be confident about the company you're in and the products that you sell, right? Okay. It says, of course, it's not the physical human beings we're dealing with that we fear. In other words, we're not fearing that someone's going to punch us in the face. That's a whole different chapter on a whole different book. Okay. This is the fear of what? Rejection, right? This is the biggest thing that we do. And so he said, if I could guarantee that I want y'all to really think about this. If I could guarantee that the next 100 people you called on the phone or met with in person, or today's day that you text or message on Facebook, would be overjoyed to support you in whatever idea, vision, mission, or business that you propose to them, how fast would you start dialing the phone to make your initial contacts with the next 100 people? What if I could guarantee that the next 100 people you contacted would say, I'm so glad you contacted me. In fact, I've been hoping you would call me to give me a chance to work with you and be on your Mary Kay team. I'm so excited about your ideas. I'd be honored to have the opportunity to join up under you. Are y'all just getting excited about this? I can't wait to get started. Just let me know when and where, and I'm going to be there. I'm with you 100%. If you could be guaranteed that response, would you have any fear of picking up the phone and making the phone calls? Even the smartest, most sharpest, most influential person you knew, if you already knew, they was going to tell you yes, right? So if you think about that, you're like, well, that's common sense. Of course not. I would just pick up the phone and start dialing right now, right? And of course, we can't guarantee that. That's bad news. But it says, I can guarantee, he said, I can guarantee a lot of people will not respond positively when you first contact them with a new idea. But if you think about this little illustration, and I'm just paraphrasing, of course, it says, it shows that if we can stay free from the fear of how people are going to react to us, then we'll become fearless in promoting our business, our vision, and our ideas. If we can stay mentally and emotionally detached from whatever that other person's initial reaction will be, we will be able to successfully remove the fear of people at the same moment that we successfully remove the need for them to approve our ideas. So I thought about that. I thought when you're calling people, if you're like, I don't have to have that person, like in fact, he goes on to say stuff like this, but like one person doesn't make or break you. Y'all remember that saying? Like one person is not going to make or break you in this business. And so Larry says this, in fact, it's a fact most people have no initial truth-based reason for rejecting us. We just make it up in our head. It says, in fact, they're often worried about what our opinion is of them. They're more worried about what we think of them than anything else. Their defense mechanism kicks in and they go into automatic survivor mode to preserve their perceived image. It says, and then he says, what you know determines who will want to know you. So I want you to think about this. What you know determines who would want to know you. You know, some people say it's not who you know, it's what you know. Y'all remember that saying? And that can be important sometimes, but the what you know, he goes to the Bible, and that's why I like this book. He says, the spiritual foundation is, and you will know the truth, and the truth will make you free. Y'all know that verse? And then he says, it's still true, and it always will be, that as a man or woman, okay, in our case, thinketh, so will they be. We are transformed by the renewing of our minds. So whether we know the truth or believe a lie will determine whether people see us as attractive, charisma, or repelling charisma. So if you ever feel like, am I just turning people off? Or is everybody I talk to just, they're rejecting me? Maybe it's something that, some kind of like vibe you're giving off. And he starts talking about that. And when I read it, I'm like, that is the truth there. You guys, I mean, it's just so much wisdom. And it says the simple fact that if we're not on a solid foundation of a truth-based thought about ourselves, our purpose. Well, we talked about our purpose with Mary Kay. So it's true, it's honorable, it's a good business to be in, right? It says, but if we can't be on a solid foundation with that, then we're going to be afraid of being rejected by other people. And if we're afraid about being rejected by other people, the fear of rejection causes us to exude an insecure charisma that make people want to get away from us as fast as they can. Therefore, we thought it to be so. We thought it to be so it was for us. And sure enough, every time this will happen just as we truly believe. So I want you to think about this a minute. Have you ever been around someone who is very insecure about themselves? And they have constant need for approval from every single thing that they do. They're constantly like they're needy, okay, real super duper needy. And I'm not saying that sometimes you don't, you know, you're with one of your best girlfriends, you're like, you think this dress is ugly or pretty? You know, Sayla and I were talking about that. She had these shoes and she asked the lady in the store, are these really pretty or really ugly? Because I just can't decide. And, you know, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people that are very insecure and very, very needy, okay? He says eliminating the fear of people is a vital step that is necessary in order for us to go to the next higher level in our business. And it says in life and relationship, we're going to talk about our business. The fear of people is based on an incorrect perception of ourselves and an incorrect perception of other people. And to overcome this, we must see ourselves and other people truthfully and accurately. And he says our ability to be persistent and unstoppable is to a great extent determined by our own perception of what we think about ourselves, you guys. And, we always think about, Mary Kay always said, what you think about, you bring about. She's talked about this so much, but I think we just forget it sometimes. And he says, why do some people who seem to have fewer advantages, less going on for them, maybe even less attractive, whatever, they win the big victories and successes in life, while other people who seem to have it all the advantages, everything going for them, they give up on their dreams and they quit and settle for a lower level than they were going for. And this is, people, this can have your feet stepped on a little bit. If you've had big goals in Mary Kay and then you just drop back. I always say drop back and punt, right? And it says it's because one person had a perception that her purpose in life is to go higher levels of freedom and blessings. And the other person perceived herself not being capable or worthy of anything better. So you think about that and you're like, I don't want to be that way. I want to, if you are thinking that, think, how can I change that? And it says it's not always the best looking or the smartest person or the best education who gets ahead in life. It's the one with the right perception, the right belief system, and the right kind of charisma. And, Mary Kay, she was so smart in teaching us about putting God first in your business, and then your family second, and then your career third. So she really helped form this company on good, solid foundations, that we could really, it's things that will not harm us, but things that will bless us if we kind of go by it. And so he goes on to say, when we present an idea or a business opportunity, so let's say we're trying to recruit someone or either maybe book someone, obviously you want them to say, yes, I'll join you. Yes, I'll book with you. Yes, I want to be on your team. And you know what? Sometimes when that happens, if you've been rejected a bunch and then someone says yes, you're like, really? And they're like, yeah. And they're like, what do I need to do? And you're like, and then you freeze and go, let me give you a bunch of stuff to look at. Well, instead, just sign the people up, for crying out loud. You know what I'm saying? You're so shocked that you got the sale or the booking, or you go, let me look at my calendar and I'll get back with you. You either need to book it on the spot and sign them up. Anyway, that's a whole nother thing. But it says we want them to say, yes, that's a great idea. I want to get started. How do we make it happen? However, if you work with people for very long, this is not the typical response the very first time. What is most important in time is not that they are offering resistance or they seem to be rejecting us. What's most important is how we control our perception of what is really going on at the moment and of the interaction. And he says all procrastination, fear, and insecurity is a result of the truth deficiency in our thoughts. Just as a vitamin deficiency weakens our physical body, a truth deficiency will weaken our faith and our perception. And so a distorted perception causes procrastination on our part. Think about this. And he says, this is evidenced by our avoiding the task of making phone calls or setting up meetings with people. You in your mind feel like no one's going to say yes and everybody's going to say no. So you avoid pain by not even trying, right? And he says, remember, a truth-based perception produces unstoppable persistence. Inspect their motives and their motivation. It says, what really motivates them? And one of the things he talked about, and Mary Kay taught this too. Mary Kay liked Larry DiAngi too. She says, if you do research and ask questions on the front end of a conversation, many times it pays off big time on the back end. What are the motives that drive them? Mary Kay's always talked about that. Like when you're sitting down and talk to someone about Mary Kay, let's say I'm recruiting, you got to talk to them and find out what's important to them. Why is that important to them? It says finding out what you think about them is more important than what they think about you. And it says if you concentrate on discovering their motives, their motivations in life, you find out what they want most, and you'll also have more importantly why they want it. Then you can put your full concentration on that person. Take the focus off yourself, because it says as long as we're wrapped up in the emotional quagmire of worrying about what they're thinking, okay, we become the needy one, and they're open to being. Then you're open to being manipulated by them. So we have to take the focus on us and put it on them instead of being like the needy one. All right. It says the fact is you can't concentrate on other people. You can't concentrate on them and yourself at the same time. So if you're talking to someone and you're worried about yourself, then you can't put your focus on them. It says, in fact, your ability to let other people know that you're really interested in them and their needs will ultimately determine how much they want to open up to you and reveal more of their true selves. People don't, and Mary Kay said this all the time from the stage, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. That's in this book. And I also found it in this New Consultant's Guide right there. It was in both books. It's a quote by Mary Kay. So it says, monitor other people's emotional state. Anytime you make people feel better about themselves, what did Mary Kay say? Have a sign around their neck that says, make me feel better about myself, make me feel important. And if you look at them and you make them feel important, what happens? They want to be around you. It says, anytime you make people feel better about themselves, you will have a greater advantage in communicating and working with them. Many people need some emotional support in order for them to believe they can succeed. And every now and then you'll run into someone that they don't need emotional point. They're go-getters. They're already confident. They're ready to roll. But most people, they don't agree to join you because they think they're going to be amazing. Why they join your Mary Kay team is because the way they like the way it felt when they were around you. They like you and they want to be around you. And they're like, I like her. She's good at this. Maybe I could be too. But really, I kind of like to be more like her. That's true, y'all. Most people join because they like their recruiter. And they might like the product too and some of the other, but Mary Kay used to say that all the time. And it says the main reason why most people first decide to say yes and join us in any pursuit is because we help them feel good about themselves when they were in our presence. We help them feel good about ourselves. And she said, we like our adopted directors. That's right. And it says, for people to feel good, they must be continually conscious that we're meeting the emotional needs of that person. So first, check ourselves to make sure we're not feeling needy. Okay. So, because you're feeling needy, you're not going to be effective. And then maintain a strong awareness of the truth of who we really are, what our business is really about, right? And then it says, think about them. Do they need approval? Do they need to feel safe? Do they need to know that they have what it takes to make it happen? Do they need to ask more questions? Do they feel important? Can you help them eliminate their emotional deficiencies? That they'll be much more likely to respond well to you and less likely to reject you. And it says, if you're on a strong foundation of truth, like our Mary Kay business, you don't need instant gratification of every single person you talk to, right? You're free to emotionally support them. And he goes down to say, you don't really need any one person or any one business deal. And I remember one time, it's a really weird thing that happened. I think this gal was in my pink Cadillac with me. Salem might have been in there. I don't even know, maybe Loree. And we were at Orlando at Career Conference. I think that's where we were. And this one beauty consultant in my unit, in the back seat, I don't even know what we were talking about, but she goes, well, she said, I just won't order next month and then you won't win your pink Cadillac. And I mean, it got all over me. Y'all, I was in my 20s and I was in my 30s and I'm like, I said, let me just tell you this. I said, whether you order or not does not determine whether I'm going to win that pink Cadillac, And I said, and I don't even remember what it was, but it was like, I don't know. She was older than me, so I didn't want to put her in her place. And plus, we were at Career Conference for crying out loud. But it was just her way. She thought she was just it was all because what she did for our whole unit, and she could drop out and we'd all be failures. And it's funny that I even remember that, right? But one person will not make or break you. You might have someone right on your team that is a superstar today, and next month, her husband may win, the $10 million lottery. And she says, I ain't got to work. I'm not working anymore. I mean, you just never know. So that's why you got to constantly be recruiting. But once you've been in Mary Kay a while and all the directors that have been in that's got some years on them, we know. Now, the first time it happens, it's hard when your personal recruit quits and sends her product back, right? It's tough. You might even cry. I don't even know. But later, you're like, it happens. People come and they go, but I'm staying. My blood run pink, I'm in. And if one person quits, it does not mean that I'm a failure or Mary Kay is a failure or our unit is a failure, right? And so you get a little bit of stamina about you, right? Just like if you have one fight with your husband, doesn't mean you're getting a divorce, right? I mean, you know, you're going to work it out. And the other day, I remember Brad said something about my attitude. I said, you know what? I'm going to change my attitude, but for the next 5 minutes, I'm still going to have a bad one. We were riding to my mom's house and I had something that was bugging me. And I said, I will, but I'm not ready to change it yet, you know, which is really not like me, but that's another story. Okay. So he says, make up your mind beforehand, before you go to an interview, before you get on the phone to do your booking, before you start texting people, you make up your mind ahead of time. Make a decision that you really don't need that person to seal the deal. That is like, if it's not a make or break person, be great if she joins you, but if she don't, it's fine. You'll just go to the next one. You know, Cheryl Warfield, National Sales Director Emeritus, she used to say no means next. And she would bang her thing on the table. She'd go, next. She said, that's all it means. No just means next. It's no big deal. No means next. It doesn't mean you're not going to make it. It just means I got to get through the numbers, and no just means next. And she goes, you got to hit something every now and then too. When they say no, just go next. Not in front of them, obviously. And he said, the point here is not that you should have like an I don't care attitude, which I wanted to mention that for sure. Not like an I don't care, but to a certain degree, the final outcome is going to be out of your control, whether they sign a beauty consultant agreement or whether they book a party with you, right? I mean, you really can't control people. We can't control other people, their outcomes, or what they think, right? So a good thing to remember is that we're not looking just for everyone, and Mary Kay used to say this too. We're just not looking for everyone or anyone. What we're looking for is people that we're supposed to work with. And he says are predestined to work with. We're sorting through people to find the ones that we're meant to be with. Who is meant to be on my team? Because there's people that are just meant to be on your team. And so I like that. You know, she used to talk about us to be selective on your team members. And I like that idea too. And he said, one great way to avoid becoming discouraged. Do any of y'all feel discouraged? If you do, it says is you must talk to many to find the few. And just know that. And Mary Kay said, it's all in the numbers. You know, she said, how many do you have to call to get a booking? Usually you have to talk to 5 people to get 1 recruit. So if you only talk to 1 and you don't get it, you just didn't finish your job, right? And sometimes the numbers aren't even 1 out of 5. It might be 2 out of 10. So you may do 8 interviews and they all say no, but 9 and 10 sign. So you just have to be willing to know not everyone's going to say yes. And I think about people that ask me to do stuff. You know, I have people that ask me to go to like these nail parties or Pampered Chef at least 3 times a week. Someone is inviting me to one. And I say no. I say no to every one of them because I'm not interested. But it doesn't break their business. They still ask. They ask like 40 more people. And guess what? They end up having that Pampered Chef party or that whatever, you know, stick on nail party, you know, because they're not letting, just because I said no doesn't mean that it's not a good company. And if I cooked all the time and I was into pots and pans, I'd be all over that Pampered Chef party. Anyway, so you want to talk to the many to find the few. And he gave a little illustration about act like you belong there, which this is, I don't know if we can, he was selling these fire extinguishers and doing fire extinguisher like inspections. So he said he would go to these places and say, hey, I just need to see when's the last time you've had your fire extinguisher inspected, and you know, if I could get permission to inspect it, and then if it's low on the whatever, you know, we could take it in or blah blah blah. And he said usually he would go in, she talked to the front desk lady, and they would go, I don't know. Then they go look up something and they go, oh yeah, we use so and so. You know, 10 years ago, they inspect our fire extinguishers. And then he'd get rejected. And he told his boss, and his boss said, okay, first of all, you don't ask permission. You just go in there and say, I'm here to inspect your fire extinguishers. So I'll need to look at them and also see how many you have. Just act like you belong there. And he said the next week, he said, I could not believe. He said, I sold some. I brought several to be filled back up. He said, and the commissions and the paycheck and everything showed, because he said, just act like you belong there. And so I was thinking about when you're around people that you don't know and you're in situations where you're trying to mix and mingle or, just act like you belong there. And, you know, I've had a real opportunity to do this because since we moved, we started playing golf at this country club that I live at. And I've lived here for 3 years, but we just joined last summer because I was so busy with Mary Kay and traveling. I was like, I don't have time to play golf. Well, anyway, since with COVID, I had lots of time, so I joined, but it's an opportunity. We have ladies golf. Okay. And I don't know these ladies. They're all new people to me. Some of them live in the neighborhood, some don't. And I thought, and they got their little friends, Okay. So, and a lot of them are like 20 years younger than me. I used to be them. I look at them and go, my legs used to look like you. And I used to be you with all my little 30-year-old friends. And now I'm me and my 50-year-old friends. So this is a good thing. Like you just act like you belong, that you're always there. And so I had an opportunity to golf with a different couple. We had couples golf on Thursday night. And so I don't really know these people. They live in the neighborhood. So I used that time to get to know them. So I said, how many kids do you have? People that talk about their kids, oh, what do they do? How did y'all meet? How long y'all been married? And I asked all these questions, and I'll tell you, if you have people that ask questions to you, you know that they're a more confident person, right? And if they never, it's like a dating. Okay. If you go on a date and you're a Mary Kay beauty consultant or a Mary Kay director, well, you know that you know how to go on a date because you ask them questions about themselves. You get them talking about themselves. They're having a great time, right? But if they don't come back and ask you anything, it may not be the person you want to marry, right? Because they're very self-centered. But it is interesting how the more confident women that I've golfed with, they come right back. Well, what do you do? And the ones that aren't as confident, either in their golf game, usually, or themselves, they don't really ask a lot of questions to me. But they will answer. But when we get done, it's like we exchange phone numbers. I'm so glad I met you. And of course, I'm thinking you need to wear Mary Kay and you need to be on my team. But I'm not going to hit them up immediately. I'm going to make them love me. And then why wouldn't you buy from me, right? But, and it really works because the other night we were with a bunch of girls and this one girl that is my customer I met her through playing golf. She goes, hey, she's your makeup hookup. Yeah, she got great makeup. She sells Mary Kay. She's the makeup guru. And do you know how much easier it is for me to sell when this girl, who happens to be the best golfer of the whole bunch, tells everybody else that, right? Instead of me telling it, because I've tried it both ways. It really works better with the other. Anyway, the last part of this book is just one more page, and he said, you are choosing who you want to work with and who you don't want to work with. And said, here's some good questions to ask. Is this person going to be a nourishing influence or a toxic influence in my life or my business? And once you're around someone for a while, maybe over lunch or another thing, you can kind of tell, or are they a lifter or a leaner? They lift you up or are they lean? Like, is this someone that will be a great person for your team, or someone that you're like, I really don't want her to sign up because I think she would drive me absolutely crazy and drain the very life out of my body. And we may all have signed up people like that before and go, I don't even know why I signed her up. So, or it says, is this someone I would want to spend a lot of time with? Someone I would feel comfortable to allow to meet and spend time with my family. I thought that was a very good one. Is this someone you would like to, go on trips with, room with them at seminar, go to fall retreat, stay in the same room with them? And that's the kind of person that, you would want on your team, right? And it says, don't get tied up in energy draining relationships with people. Your first priority is not to see if they want to be with you or work with you. You're the interviewer. That person is an applicant for a position in your life or your business. I like that too. And then it says, silence is just as important as talking. Let the other person talk. Many times when you have the greatest urge to talk, that's the exact time when you need to be silent. And he talks about when you're going over like something, instead of getting louder, that you lower your voice. He said, you lower your voice to make the point, and then they kind of lean in to hear what you're saying. They said, if you're doing an interview or talking to someone about something in person, and I know y'all haven't been doing in-person interviews, but one day, hopefully, I hope you'll get back to it. But if you're the one, you're leaning in the whole time talking to them and they're kind of like this, then that's not good. Instead, you need them to be kind of leaning in. And if you ever been that way, like in any situation like church or anything else, and you're leaning in because you want to hear every word they say, right? That's the response that you want to get. And then last, he was talking about how do you have, it says, the more we develop a strong sense of purpose and accurate picture of who we are and who we've been created to be on the inside, the less we will fear people reactions to us. And I want y'all to know this. It says, you have gifts, talents, and abilities, and a vision that some people will greatly appreciate, while other people won't be able to understand your uniqueness. let alone appreciate your vision for your future. Fearing the reactions of those other people is a meaningless waste of time. Stay centered enough to keep yourself spiritually and mentally and emotionally strong enough to eliminate the fear of people. And this is some of the suggestions he made. And it's also the same suggestions that Mary Kay used to tell us. He said, you will need to constantly be reading the right books, listening to positive, he put tapes and CDs. Okay. So positive podcasts. All right. Listening to uplifting music, receiving input from mentors, and whatever else is necessary to keep our self-image, our thoughts, and our own sense of worthiness on a high level. If you had 24 hours left to spend, who would you choose to spend that time with? You would spend that time with people who love you and appreciate you the most. Well, every 24 hours is a gift and to be counted. We can give many people the opportunity to share these precious moments with us. Some of these will be lifelong loving friends, and some of them will just be a passing encounter. It says, but as long as we know we are endeavoring to be the best that we can be, we can let their reactions belong to them. Whether positive or negative, they are the author of their thoughts, and we are the author of our thoughts. And it says, I think the children's song says it best: accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, and don't mess around with Mr. In Between. And so we've been doing this Bible study for this Director Bible study, and it's talking about surrender, how you cannot control other people's thoughts and action. You surrender control of other people's thoughts and other people's actions because you can't change them, right? And so that's a good surrender principle. So I don't know. If any of you have just been hesitant in making your phone calls or texting people, and you just feel like you're in a slump, and I just thought maybe this is something that might could encourage you today. And I know normally, I know it's not that exciting to read through a whole chapter of a book, but it is a really good book. Every single chapter is good. Overcoming Objections by Larry DiAngi. It's a really, really good book. But I was just thinking that maybe this last 2 weeks of the seminar year, actually 1 week and 4 days, that you may need to get a little extra courage to make those phone calls and know that what we're promoting is worthy, it's truthful, it is empower. Our goal is to empower women so you can feel confident about what you're sharing. Don't feel, and our products are top of the line. So we have nothing to be ashamed of and everything to be proud of, and every reason to want to share our business and our products with other people. So that's what I got today, ladies. So let's hear from some of these sales directors. I'm sure they're probably thinking, I got something to say about that. So if you got something, bring it on.
Hey, this is Jana. Is it my turn? Am I up?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I got lots to say about that, sister, because you know what? You got to bring it. If you want to, you can't lead confident women if you're acting all mousy and you're not asking, because women want to know that you have a confidence and they're drawn to that. So I love that you talked about that. I also love that you talked about procrastination comes from distorted perception, and you avoid pain by not trying. Yep, that is totally true. And it's just like there's a lie going on in your head. And so as soon as you can say your affirmations in the morning and get that lie out of your head, you can do it. I'm reading a book. Okay, I rarely read 2 books at a time because I need to be focused on one. I'm reading one called Visioneering by Andy Stanley, but I just started something called Atomic Habits.
I just finished that.
This is rock star material. Can I share one thing that changed something in my head? He just said, goals are good for setting a direction, but systems are best for making progress. And a handful of problems arise when you spend too much time thinking about your goals and not enough time thinking about your systems. So it's all about action, you guys. You can have a target, you can have a goal, and that's fantastic, but don't just sit there and daydream about it. Go ask those confident women that Cleta was talking about. It's having the systems. And so to me, a system, when you are successful Mary Kay independent beauty consultant and you're wanting to become a sales director, earn a car, or even just earn your red jacket, whatever your next step is, what is your system? Well, a system would be locking in your schedule, When are you booking your appointments? Do you have a habit of booking appointments every day? Do you have a habit of contacting your clients every day? All of those income producing activities. Do you have a habit of asking one person a day to listen to the facts about Mary Kay? Whatever it is, those are your systems. Those are your habits. And so don't procrastinate in those by believing the lies that Larry DiAngi talked about. So go for it. We can do it. Let's wrap up this year strong.
And in this little book, this little New Consultant New Consultant book on business basics, Mary Kay said, what's the difference between a dream and a goal? Action. Just what she said. A goal needs a time frame and a plan. Try breaking down your goal into simple steps. That's called systems. It works. After all, and she said 40 years of success behind it is nothing to sneeze about, which we have 57 years now, right?
Right.
She said, tissue anyone? I didn't think so. I thought that was pretty funny. Very good, smart. Yeah. Okay, who else?
Hey, this is Lorraine. I'll go ahead and go. And I wrote down the same quote Jana did about procrastination and distorted perception, because it's so true. What I've heard time and time again, feel the fear and do it anyway. And I think we are all kind of have those roadblocks from time to time, but you just have to that's why I'm such a big reader, because all those things, it just helps to flood your mind with the right positive thinking. And so that way you don't get so into your own feels, get in your feelings. You have to overcome that by, just like faith comes by hearing and hearing by the word of God. It's the same thing for leadership as well. And, the Bible, it has great leadership principles in it, but some of these other authors, are just have such wisdom that we need to bathe our mind in that, and then get on the phone and book, and, before we start doing that. So that way we're not insecure. We feel powerful, kind of like a couple years ago, we were, talked about the power poses and, I own my power, that kind of thing. And that's why leaders are readers, and just, you don't have to spend a lot of money on books. Libraries are still open, and, you just need to make a habit of reading a few days of every day, a few minutes every day on something that will build your own courage up and your own faith, because you do have to feel that, but then you also have to take action on it. And I love what she said about the systems too, because once those habits and those skills become habitual, you don't have to think about them as much. Just like brushing my teeth, I never have to remind myself to go potty in the morning and brush my teeth immediately thereafter. It's just what I do. And so when our business becomes that habitual, that's when those successes will just come.
Mm-hmm. So good. They used to say the acronym on fear, and I learned this in Mary Kay my first year in the business, is false evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real. And so it's not even the truth, the things that you're fearing, And so this one lady in the book that we're doing this Bible study, I don't know if you read that, Jana, and it said her fear was she felt like God was calling her to go do mission work out of the country, but she had a great fear of spiders, of getting bit by a spider, of, dying in a foreign country because of a bit by a spider. And she finally had to overcome her fear of spiders and release it. And then she said, even if she did get bit, she would not die. And then later she ended up doing like 10 mission trips. But people feared a lot of different things, and it's that false evidence appearing real. So anyway, thank you. Great comments. Sayla, you want to go next?
Yeah. What a breath of fresh air. Thank you so much. Whether you've been in one day or 30 years, I think every single word that you said was just powerful, just a blessing. I think that we all need encouragement. We all, no matter what level you're in, we all have times that we fear. Jana, I have read Atomic Habits. I just finished. And it is one of the things he talks about in that book is how sometimes we think that we have to make these massive changes, but really you just can make small incremental changes. And so as far as making a habit of making calls, maybe you just make one call a day. And what happens is over time, you get stronger every day. It encourages you every day. And like Larry DiAngi said, what if the next 100 people were going to tell you yes? I always say, it doesn't matter what someone says to me. I say, great. I mean, they can say your product stinks. I say, great, because people can't get upset with you when you have that kind of attitude. It makes you feel powerful. And the more you do anything, the better you become and the stronger you become. So thank you. Thank you. I have read that book before, Cleta, but I don't know where it is. I think I'm going to buy it again. So it was a great call. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. I know after I read that one chapter, I thought, I was looking through this book and I thought, look at all the other things. It's like rise to a higher level where rejection can't touch you. Use the layering, never quit, never give up, keep your purpose on a higher level than the challenge level. It's just really every single chapter is good. And I remember reading it before, but y'all, that's the thing. You go to your books, you probably, if you ever have been a reader, you probably got some good stuff in there. And I don't remember, I don't have to say I've already read that. I can't remember what's in this book. I got to read it again. And plus I'm in a different spot than I was in 2005, So thank you so much. And now I'm gonna have to get that atomic bomb or whatever y'all just had.
Atomic Habits.
Atomic
really
Habit.
Good.
Yes. Okay. Who else like to say something? Consultant or director? Just unmute if you'd like to say anything or add to. Okay. Well, if not, you guys, we have, like I say, let's see, 7. Well, we basically got 10 days starting tomorrow. And I was looking at something that I sent out in 2019, and I needed still 40, I think it was 43,000 retail to finish my goal. And we exceeded it. And I thought, there you go, Cleta. You're that same person you were 2 years ago when you had a big goal, And so there's a lot of people that are going to do big, big things this next week. And it's the ones that really have that vision, like, I'm not giving up. And they're gonna run through the finish line instead of stop short of the finish line. They're not gonna fall down right before they start. They're gonna keep running. And no matter where you land, if you're running, you can be proud of yourself, when June 30th comes. And so that's the way that we all want to be. If you are a beauty consultant that is in my unit or an adoptee in my unit beauty consultant, we are going to have our unit meeting right after this call. So you can just hang on here and we'll start in about 2 minutes. But everybody else, thank y'all for calling in. Thanks for the extra tips from the sales directors. They're always great. And we will see y'all next Sunday night on the Boss Babe Call.